The guidelines say the coaches need to be tested before they can work with the kids. How often do they need to be tested?
Well, it came down from the governor's office that before summer activity that each coach needs to be tested for COVID-19. Now, when saying that is every community is different as far as how long it's taking to get the results back. You know, some communities it's taking 24 hours, some communities it's taking 7 to 10 days. So they need to test as close as they can to the start date, but in time to get the test back before summer workouts. It's also going to come down, and it hasn't yet, but I do believe that coaches are going to need to test once again before their season. So we're probably looking at coaches testing now, and then once again either in the fall, winter, or spring.
So this next one's kind of a two-part question. Are kids required to get tested before working out? And can a school require the kids to be tested before their summer workouts begin?
At this point, we are not requiring kids to be tested before summer. However, I do believe that they will be required to test before their season. So as far as summer and as far as the question that you have, can schools require kids to be tested? And the answer is yes. They can require them, but we do believe that they will be required right before the season starts.
Sally, once school starts, if kids' temperatures are tested to arrive at school, will they have to have temperatures monitored again before practice that day?
You know, I've told all the coaches the past couple of weeks when I've met with them via Zoom that that is their new norm. Every single day, not just this summer, but throughout the school year, the new norm is you need to temperature check your kids before practice. So if the school's going to require it in the morning when they get to school, I am still telling our coaches that is your new norm, and you're going to temperature check before practice throughout the school year.
Can coaches wear face shields instead of masks?
Definitely. In fact, this weekend I saw an article that it's even protects you more with face shields than it does masks. And I don't know, you know, there's so many articles out there as what's true and what's not. But, you know, there's coaches are saying it's easier to do a face shield because of when they're talking to their kids and their, you know, their voice carries a little bit better with a shield. So they can do a shield or a mask, but one or the other every time that they are coaching.
Can athletes work out in a swimming pool?
And that is yes, cross-training. Right now our swimming pools are open in our gyms. Swimmers and swimming coaches can meet with their athletes as well. The guidelines though is one person pool, per lane. So if they are going to cross-train, they need to still stay in those pods of 5 to 1 and one person per lane back and forth to cross-train.
Can a team or school have a supplier make masks with school colors and logos?
You know, that's what's pretty neat. You know, it's like, how do you take this situation that we're in and make it positive for high school kids? And through those Zoom meetings, you know, the past couple of weeks, we've talked about that in some of the meetings about making masks that have your school logo on it or your mascot, your school name. School colors, you know, anything we can do that it is cool, that it is a neat idea for schools to do. But as long as these kids are with masks, they can have school colors, mascots, school name, it doesn't matter.
With teams that conduct summer workouts outside, what happens if there's lightning in the area? Prior procedure had the coach gather the kids indoors. What about now? What do they do?
Well, I think first off, every school is different. Every school facility is different. Some schools are just practicing outdoors, some are doing indoors, vice versa. I think the best thing to say to answer that question is the athletic directors and the coaches need to come up with a plan as to what they're going to do with their facilities. You know, sometimes the facilities are very far away from a building, but are their cars close? Maybe instead of 10 miles, you know, that you need to get indoors when you see lightning, maybe when you just, you know, is about ready, you know, 15 miles or 20 miles, get the kids home. You know, I think it's up to the school, the athletic directors, the administrations to make that determination.
We go over a lot of information each week, Sally, but if someone misses one of your interviews or is looking for the guidelines, return to play, on our website, any of the videos and forums that we have? Where do they go to find that?
That's a good question because I get questions over and over and over. I can't find the guidelines. I didn't see your Q&A. Where is it? So on and so forth. What we have done, Tyler, is on the home page of our website, there is a tab that says COVID. And if you click that tab, anything is on there as far as guidelines, sanitation of balls, the new form for the physicals and the parent signature, anything that you need is there. The Q&As are on our website as well, and you can access any of those. I mean, we've started since, mid-March that we've had a Q&A, and we've had one every single week, and so you can find those as well. When we had those coaches the past couple weeks, I asked them, are you looking at the Q&As? Because a lot of the questions they have are on the Q&As. But like I've told everybody, Tyler, there is a place where it says COVID. The Q&As are there, but if any coach or athletic director has a question, they can call me as well.
There are all kinds of rumors and speculations on social media, like not having fans, seasons flip-flopping. How do you address those rumors?
I think we just ignore them. It was a few weeks. We just talked about the Q&As. It was about 3-4 weeks ago that I said, if you see something out there on social media, unless it comes from myself, the Secretary of Education, the Governor's Office, or Howie Morales, we just kind of need to ignore them. And so it still is that way. And now I'm also saying, if it doesn't come from us, the NMAA, either in the Q&A or to the athletic director, then we just need to ignore all that stuff. And we just need one place where everybody's getting the information. There's so much out there, nationally, CDC guidelines, governor, all over the place. And so I think if there's questions, Tyler, and people just are concerned or they don't understand, we need to ignore the rumors and come back and ask the question here to myself at the NMAA.
Sally, I know you're constantly working on the new phases for the guidelines and that stuff, so we'd like to wrap up the interviews with trying to get a sense of where we're at. Now that summer workouts have started for several programs, when do you see the next phase starting with some of the restrictions changing?
Where are we at? And we've been saying this every week, something changes. In fact, we're going to have an athletic directors meeting tomorrow because there will be a little more tweak in the guidelines and that we can discuss just that question that you asked. Phases. We have the governor's phases, phase 1, phase 2, where are we at within the governor's phases, but also where are we at within the NMAA's phases to make sure that we are opening up within the governor's guidelines, however, in a safe manner that when August happens, that we're ready for high school sports. And that's the goal. Is it phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or is it a 2-week period that we keep monitoring and look to see? We also have low-risk sports, moderate-risk sports, and high-risk sports. So those openings up are not the same. Low risk such as golf. I mean, we saw golfers are out there already, but then we have a high risk sport such as wrestling. So what do we do in between for all the sports? So I think that's what we're looking at. So we really can't say phases. I think we have to look at these a little bit more individually, and when do we start equipment? When do our pods get to be bigger than 5-to-1? When does a scrimmage type situation might happen? All of those things. So from now to the beginning of school, different little phases, the governor's phases and ours phases will happen. And like I said, our goal is from now until the first day of practice that we will be some type of normalcy the first day of practice. And so every single week it gets closer and closer and closer. And like I've always ended these, we are going to play again, and I'm very, very hopeful.